Hey everybody. So, thought I'd do another video today. Remember this beauty? Well, I have discontinued working on this because it is broken. I had it finished, I had a paracord wrap around here, I had the string nicely served, and handed it to a gentleman who was a little overzealous when he pulled it, and he pulled it too hard and it went crack right where I thought it was going to do that, if it eventually did, which it did. And it happened, of course, right in the handle. Now, as you guys who have followed along might already know, I had anticipated this problem from the very beginning because the handle is not very well supported. There just wasn't enough material here, and I had been debating on putting a splint or something on the inside of the handle to give it a little more meat, so that when these limbs bend, they they bend in the limbs rather than the handle. Well, that didn't work out, so let me just show you a little bit of the detail on this. Don't know if the camera is going to pick this up very well or not, but you can see the major split right there. And what happened was that when it was bent, as you can see, the split occurred right here across the back, and then traveled the length down here as well as over here. So I don't know if I have the, yeah, that should pick it up. So you can see there that I've got quite a repair job to do. Now, I've never tried to repair a fracture and a long crack like this in a bow before, or let alone anything else for that matter. But I'm going to save this repair project for another time, just for something fun to do, something to keep my hands busy, keep occupied while I'm looking for a job. So, in the meantime, I've got another project. Ta-da! Okay, let's talk a little bit about this crazy piece of wood right here. This is the same kind of wood as the other bow. Again, I'm not sure if it's a Modesto ash or if it's a mimosa. I'm thinking it's a Modesto ash, but since I really don't know woods all that well, I don't know how to tell. And unless somebody that does know points it out to me and says, okay, yeah, this is what the characteristics of that wood. But as far as making a bow, I'm pretty sure this is going to work out just fine. Now, let me show you a little bit more of this thing. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up too well or not, but you can see an obvious curve. Okay? Now, that means that the string is going to be way off center. It's going to be off over here. Now, I know you can make bows that have warps in them, that have warps in the limbs. There's ways that you can shape the wood so that, not to get rid of the warps, but to make the center of this, to make the string a little bit closer. Now, I do want it a little off center. I don't want it right on center. I want it off center so that my arrow fires on a straighter trajectory rather than being angled off this way and having to bend around the bow. I'd rather shoot an arrow with a stiffer spine, one that's not going to bend as much and have to bend farther to get around the bow. So I'm actually kind of glad that the string on this thing, hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, is going to be off center over to the right, depending on which way I shoot it. You know, I've also talked about wanting to get into shooting off of the right instead of the left. So there are different archery techniques and so on and so forth. So now let's check out the grain of this wood. Now the grain is, let's see, make sure I got that right. Yeah. Okay, so the grain is horizontal. It follows this way horizontally. Doesn't run this way, runs this way. So you can see that I couldn't just make this natural curve and bend it back this way because the grain is perpendicular to this. So it has to go like this. Okay? Or, you know, whichever way. So you can tell, just to emphasize the point, the grain is running this way. Okay? So I have to take the material off at an angle, which is going to make this bow look kind of funky. I'm anticipating. But the good news is that I've got plenty of material in the midsection to work with a good handle. So at least that part, and the fact that this is a good bit longer than the other bow, gives me a lot more room to play with. especially with the handle. So what my plan is to make a normal, a deep set handle, leave a lot of the material here once I get the sapwood off, that surface wood, and get down to the hardwood. It's not going to have the two tones of wood that the other bow did. It's just going to be the hardwood section. But I still have enough material here that I can make a good sturdy handle, and so it won't bend in the handle. It'll be bending in the limbs as it should. Now, we'll see when we get to this point, but eventually I'm thinking that I want to taper these limbs nice and thin and wide, and then take a press or a clamp, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a mold, right? Probably out of wood. Just take it to a wood shop, have somebody carve me up a mold, and what I'm going to do is set the mold up against a clamp the tip down, and take a hot gun or a dryer, like an industrial hair dryer, something that would probably burn all the hair off your head if you tried to dry your hair with it, but you know what I mean. And I'll heat the wood up and I'll bend it so it'll give it a deflex. So this, for you Mortal Online fans of mine out there, and players, friends, and everybody else, this will be a deflex reflex bow. I'm sorry, reflex deflex bow. So in other words, this will have a bend going this way, deflexing. So when I pull it, it's going to have a smoother draw. I won't get the same string follow that I would if I didn't bend the tips. So it'll have a smoother draw. It'll probably shoot much faster because you've got that deflex action working against your reflex. So what that does is speed up the travel time. When you release that string, it speeds the travel time up back to its set. So I hope that explanation made sense. But anyway, guys, this is my new bow project. I'm going to take you on this journey as soon as I get started working on it, and let's have fun with this. Feel free to leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let me know if you have any suggestions or anything that you think you'd like to see me attempt with this thing. And of course, if you are a bow maker yourself, I would welcome any hints, tips, tricks, any suggestions you might have, because I am an amateur at this. I think this is number 11 or 12, somewhere around there. Anyway, wish me luck, guys, and I hope you all have a great day.